Yeah, so I know the moment that it happened actually. So I was homeless in San Diego, California, for a short period of time, and homelessness. Most people think the worst part of homelessness is that you don't have a roof over your head, or a place to lay down, or money in your pocket. But really, the worst part of homelessness is you become invisible. So no one will make eye contact with you when you're homeless, right? They'll look above you, below you, to the left of you, to the right of you, but they'll
True.
never look directly at you. Maybe they're afraid you're going to mug them. They're afraid you're going to ask them for money, make them feel some sort of shame, whatever. I get it, but it's an awful feeling, and no one ever says your name, right? And so homelessness became hopelessness for me, and hopelessness became depression, deep depression, and that depression became suicidal thoughts. And then ultimately, I decided to take my own life in the Pacific Ocean, just off the coast of La Jolla, California.
What happened in that moment?
So, in that moment, once I made that decision, I was really comfortable with that decision. And I'm not a very good swimmer. I'm very stereotypical, but I'm not a very good swimmer at all. And so I decided I would just swim out as far as possible until my arms were fatigued, and then I would drown. And so I went out and I swam out as far as I possibly could, and experienced some crazy things. It's like this moment of panic as the waves are splashing all over my face, my arms are fatigued. And then all of a sudden, this moment of calm, like I was totally comfortable with this being the last breath that I took. And as my head went underwater for what I thought was the last time, my feet hit the ground, and I all of a sudden popped up, and I looked around. Well, the tide was coming in as I was trying to swim out. And I was such a terrible swimmer that the tide had pushed me back onto the shore. And so I rolled up onto the shore, and I'm laying there and I'm looking up at the stars, and all of a sudden I'm realizing how big the universe is and how small my problems actually are. And that's when I heard the words, "You take yourself wherever you go." Now,
Wow.
I had a mentor who had told me that before when I was young, but I had no idea what the heck he was talking about.
Sure.
But in this moment, I finally realized, because I flashed through all of my experiences, and I had lived in all kinds of different cities. I'd been around all kinds of different people. I had worked all kinds of different jobs, but the result kept being the same. And so I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm the only constant in all of this. I've been blaming everyone else for every bad thing that's happened in my life. But the reality is, I was the only constant. So it opened my eyes. I was like, oh, wait a minute. If I'm the catalyst of all things negative in my life, does that mean I can be the catalyst for positive things in my life? And that sent me on a journey of self-discovery. I wanted to figure out, why do we have this ability to create? Like, where does that come from? And so I had to understand more who I was, which sent me down a path of spiritual understanding. And ultimately, I studied Scientology, I studied Buddhism, I studied Catholicism, I studied all these different things, and then ultimately found my spiritual understanding of self through the story of Jesus Christ and Christianity. Um, and ever since then, I've, like, literally from that moment, shed any idea that anyone on the outside has any control over my destiny or my results. That I am not a victim in this life. That I am actually the catalyst of all the results. And so that was the moment for me. Charity was right then when I realized I'm the only constant. It can't be everyone else's fault. It must be this guy.